that I have developed a reputation for speaking plainly in my 27 years as a county employee, and I have no intention of changing from that this morning as I make some remarks. I have to say that I'm very proud to be part of this Board of Commissioners, and those of you that know me know that I was not proud of membership on the board the last time. As a matter of fact, I was ashamed to be a member of the previous Board of Commissioners. And as Commissioner Shapiro was making his remarks, his well thought out remarks, he said that he and Commissioner Richards were stunned by the enormity of the problems that are facing the county, far beyond what he and she had thought when they took office. I, of course, am not stunned by it. You will recall that we are now operating under a budget that had a 17.5% tax increase, which I believe is the largest tax increase in a single year that the county has ever seen. And we still are suffering under tremendous financial strains, which we will address. The surplus that we started with when I took office in January of 2008 was just under $100 million, which was a very sizable amount of money and a good basis upon which to borrow money and demonstrate to rating companies that we had the ability to pay things if disasters were to strike. And we paid for all of the excesses of the previous board out of that money, and we borrowed excessively. And during that period of time, I constantly warned against it. But you see, something that Commissioner Shapiro alluded to, that really, it helps if your commissioners are smart and energetic. It helps that they are willing to come to work and work together. But the most overriding thing that is necessary for a county commissioner is to be honest. We are presented with a myriad of decisions to make based on a series of choices, and we have to choose the best one, the most honest one. And we try to do that each and every day. The previous Board of Commissioners were not honest. They made decisions based on non-good government reasons. And there was a tremendous price to pay, not just in how the public perceived what was being done, but the results of those decisions are what we're paying for now. When you make decisions based on bad motives, non-good government motives, you end up spending money to advance personal agendas, political agendas, efforts to hurt other people, efforts to buy the loyalty of other people, hiring cronies, hiring people who are in a position to help you with political contributions, either to live off of or to run future political campaigns. And all of those things have a cost down the road. When your lawyer, the person providing legal advice to the Board of Commissioners, has a divided loyalty, the advice that is granted to the Board of Commissioners is not advice at arm's length, and we make foolish decisions based on legal opinions that are not done with the best interest of the client, in this case the County of Montgomery, at heart. When your personnel department that is responsible for 3,000 plus people makes decisions based on personal and political choices, and not based on what is best for the departments that they're being hired for, the persons who hold those jobs are not then doing the mission of county government and are not providing the services to the people of Montgomery County that the people are entitled to. When we hire cronies and put them in charge of the physical plant, then you wonder why it is that the priorities of this building, the county courthouse, the radio system, etc., the bridges, as Commissioner Richards mentioned, why those priorities are shunted aside and we spend tens of millions of dollars on road improvements on roads owned by someone else. These are the bad things that flow from that. And when your personnel department, your legal department, and your commissioners are operating with bad motives or are dishonest, that creates a morale problem for everyone who works here. And again, having worked here as long as I have, I know what it used to be like and what it became in 2008. And when you have a morale problem, the people who are providing the service to the electorate are not motivated to do a good job. There are some members of the DA's office in this room from when I was there, and they will attest to that. I see quite a number that every two times a year I used to thank them for making me look good. And I was so proud of the work that they did, and I was especially proud of the political benefit I derived from all the hard work that they did. And I used to thank them for that. And it never ceased to be forefront in my mind that the county employees who were providing the services, they were doing the job that we were elected to administer them to do. And if they're doing their job well, and I've heard Commissioner Shapiro say this many times, good government is good politics. If we are presenting a good government service, the commissioners are benefiting from that because they are the ones who get the credit for it. Conversely, they're the ones who get blamed when things go wrong. So, as a result of a series of bad decisions, some political, some governmental, and some just plain dishonest, we find ourselves in a position where financially we have challenges. I was told to use that word challenge by our people. We have both challenges in terms of operating budget, and we have challenges in terms of debt. When your debt takes 220 years to reach $400 million and only takes 4 years to increase exponentially therefrom, you're not doing something right. And when Commissioner Shapiro tells you about the challenges that this building faces and that the courthouse faces, and I tell you about the radio system, and Commissioner Richards tells you about the bridges, those are infrastructure things we are going to have to borrow money to repair because we simply can't do our jobs right if we let those things go. I've been very impressed with my fellow commissioners. I think they're extraordinarily capable people. I almost feel like a disloyal Republican for saying so. But I think that they're doing an excellent job, and I'm proud to serve with them. I think the people that we have hired to run the county government and to carry out our policies are outstanding, and I couldn't imagine that we could have found anyone better. And I pledge to you that the current Board of Commissioners will speak honestly and truthfully about problems as they develop. Remember, it has only been a couple of months since the Commissioner sat here with another one nodding his head there, telling the world that the county finances were the rock of Gibraltar, that finances were so strong and in such a good shape, described it as the rock of Gibraltar. Well, I didn't know the rock of Gibraltar was collapsing into the Mediterranean Sea, but evidently it must be. That's what we have to face. And when you run for political office, you present a series of ideas that you think are important, a series of positions that you intend to take if the public trusts you with the position that you're seeking. You can only present those ideas based on the available evidence that you have before you in deciding what it is that's possible and what it is that's not. The problem that we were faced with, and that Commissioner Shapiro and Commissioner Richards were faced with, was they did not have an honest and true picture of what the county finances were, and that I was the lone voice in the wilderness saying what actually was, and I was their opponent. Well, now there is no opponent here. There is no party here. There is no political infighting here. There are three people in a lifeboat bailing it out, and there's no Republican or Democrat way to do that. And we're trying to do it with as much thinking, logic, and honesty as it is possible to do. So I want to thank Commissioner Shapiro and Commissioner Richards for participating with me this morning. I want to specifically say how impressed I am with Commissioner Shapiro's leadership of the board and his delegation of responsibilities to the various commissioners. I will be carrying out the duties that he and Commissioner Richards have asked me to, and I will be providing whatever counsel I can to them, things that we are all responsible for. I want to make a comment specifically about Mr. McGarry. Except for the occasions when I was allowed to speak to one of the assistant solicitors, I haven't had a conversation with a lawyer who understood which end of a law book to open until he took over as solicitor, except when I was at my private law firm. And I think he's doing an outstanding job, and I'm constantly worried that we're putting too much stress on him, and on Lauren Mambrugo, and Lisa Saltesiak, and the other members of our team. It will get better, and it will get easier, but I think it's going to be more difficult in the short term than anyone could possibly have imagined.